because I said it on the title. My guest is Leanne Kathleen Ingino. Did I get that right?
You did, yeah.
Oh, awesome. I always worry kind of when we do these conversations because I have a long last name. People screw my name up all the time. So it's like, yeah, I always feel bad when I screw somebody else's name up. It's just like one of those things. So how's life been treating you?
Oh, it's going okay. Yeah.
How's the Kickstarter?
It's nice to have a short work week.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving for you guys down there, ain't it?
Yeah. You guys had yours a couple weeks ago, right?
A month ago.
Okay.
Yeah. We are 6 weeks ahead, but you guys decided that in one ways you're smarter. We're gonna do Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and we're gonna turn this one giant 4-day weekend. Right. So
yeah.
But so like obviously you're doing like your Kickstarter right now, but you're very creative. Like I it's like I don't even know if I described you correctly. It's like you've done right. You've done like everything.
I do a lot of things, yeah. The comic is the one thing that's like out there now, and some short stories are available. I have a poetry book coming out in 2022. We're still working on the release date, and then everything else I've done is like not yet professionally, but hopefully one day.
What's professional? I asked, like in your mind, what is professional?
Well, I'm taking singing lessons, but I can't deduct them. I'm not doing anything like business wise in a way that I could like legitimately deduct that expense, you know? So, and then a lot of other stuff I do. I would love to write a novel one day. I've helped with short films. I've written a short film script, but I haven't actually like tried to make it. So, you know,
gotcha.
I would consider that if I ever tried to do one, it would definitely be as a business expense.
So
as a business thing with the intent of raising funds. You don't always raise funds just because you want to, but that's the goal.
Well, somehow I get the feeling you get people to support you really quick. I got that feeling. I got that feeling like people would help you. But mostly it's the how do I put this? It sounds to me like you're what we would call a dabbler. Like you play in creativity.
I have a ton of hobbies, and I just like I've dabbled in doing some of them as businesses before I realized, you know what, this is best as a hobby because you got to have some things that you like to do just for the sake of doing them, not for the sake of like producing, you know.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a balance there. So I guess then I'll ask the big one because one of my favorite TED Talks was you sound like a woman with a lot of interest. What's your passion?
So yeah, that's because I had to think for a while, okay, is it writing or is it singing? And I think that it's very close, but it's definitely writing.
What kind of, like just poetry, comics, all of it, none of it? Like what?
All of it. I like poetry is kind of its own. I write under a different name. Like I write under my name, but I write without my initial. Like I write with the initials for my spec fiction and comics, and then I do my full name for poetry just to keep them like a little bit different. And I use my brain a little bit differently for it than I do for other writing. And comics, film, short stories, and eventually a novel. I mean, I have parts of a novel, but nowhere near a full thing. They all feel very like the same to me, even though you do have to think about them in different ways. But it like works the same.
It's storytelling at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is. Like I'm getting paid to produce videos now, so I guess I'm a professional at it. Right? Right. I get paid to open my big mouth, so I guess I'm a professional at this too. I get paid to, and I do get paid to write. Although the writing is the one where I want to get that to be a little bit more regular, but I'm working at it little by little by little by little. And so, I mean, and I'm doing the same thing. I do poetry, I do comics, what they all have in common is storytelling, because you're trying to tell a story and trying to tell the best kind of story you possibly can. And I find like some mediums play better than others. Like my favorite current medium is Japanese light novel. That's my current favorite medium because it's not. It lets me do prosy, like prosy stuff, but it's also got pictures. But it's also got pictures in it, right? And I can play with design. I can play with the design of a story a lot more in that format than I would with, say, a novel or even a comic. As much as you can do a lot with comics, right? Buying a comic book just to play with words is not the design of a comic book. Comic books are supposed to be like very pictures and like fun and it's great. I think people who are musically inclined are probably some of the best comic creators out there because you kind of like you're used to blending music, different instruments together. Comics is also about different instruments together. It's just like a comic creative team's kind of like a band, right? Sometimes you can be a one woman rock band. I'm sure you could do it, but it's all on
vocals only.
Yes. But the idea is like you're working with people, you're collaborating with people, you're coming up with the best possible story you can tell. So I kind of feel like musicians have an advantage over, say, in comics in particular, because it's almost the same thing except instead of playing with sound, you're playing with color, right? I think it's almost like but just using a slightly different tool to do it.
That last line cut off just a little bit.
Hold on. Oh, okay, that's good. So you're playing with the same like band, like the same like like you're in the same structure. It's like you're using slightly different tools to tell the same story, but you're doing almost the same thing.
Yeah, and you have to hit like certain beats too for comics, you know, especially like all the page turns. So that's the big one I make sure to hit with my editor.
Is Chuck your editor?
He is, yeah.
Chuck is everywhere. He's like, I call him the Where's Waldo of comics. I really do, because he's like, if there's an indie book, it's like, oh, okay, you're right. There he is.
Yep.
But no, it's so. What? So, did you start singing or writing first?
This is making me do math. I'm sure I was writing in like middle and elementary school, but I just don't really remember it very well. And I started like choir and singing lessons in middle school, and I definitely remember that more distinctly. When I started like really thinking of like I was writing a lot more often was definitely in high school.
Okay.
I actually stopped both of them for a while, like sometime during college, I think, maybe after college. Singing was a little bit before that, but also because at one point, you know, I had to pay for my own lessons, so
yeah, well,
that stopped for a bit once. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just can only do what you can do at that point. You're just doing the best you can, and that's a very different thing. Why'd you stop writing?
Just not really having a lot of encouragement, having other things to focus on, being around some people who are a little bit toxic about it too. So fun stuff.
Yay!
Stuff that will discourage you, you know.
Oh, it's hard because there's almost life's way of going, do you really want this? Everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's everything in your life, the people you associate yourself with, the occupation, the choices you make. And I think when you're young, it's easy to forget that this is how it works. But when you get older, you recognize lots of things in this life are distractions. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I only got so much time. Do I really want this?
I have trouble with that with my hobbies.
It's okay. I mean,
or Animal Crossing sometimes.
Animal Crossing's your game of choice?
I was playing WoW for a while, and then I just didn't have the time, and also my guild disbanded. So I was like, oh, now I'm sad, and I don't feel like dealing with finding a new group. So
wow to me was I learned, I saw the trap for what it was, and I never took the full leap because
I was pretty good at like playing for like doing my dailies, and then being like, all right, I gotta go do other stuff, you know, gotta go work. But some people, you just can't stop.
And as Jagtrust is saying here, Animal Crossing is relaxing. It is a very relaxing environment, and it can totally be.
No,
No, I see. I decided. So I tried WoW twice. And both times it was 16 hours later, like 8 hours later one, 8 hours later the other. I just decided after the second time, no.
Yeah.
Just nah. Oh no. She's addicted to Dragon Quest Builders too. So right now my games of choice are Shadowverse, and I just really got a free. Yeah. What? Why are you saying no, Jack?
I figure out
Shadowverse.
which that was 2.
Yes. Yeah, no, like Dragon Quest is a really good game. Like that goes back to when I was a. Well, no, it was. Look, I have an addictive personality. No, of course it was too long. I know that. That's why I stopped.
That's what happens if I haven't played in forever, because then you got to catch up.
Well, there's that, but there's also just it's just one of those things. Just like I'm one of those people that gets really obsessive about shit. So I just go in and I'm like, I'll try it, I'll do everything, and the next thing you know, if it's really, really good, it's a really fun. WoW's got a great community. They've always had, and they always will, and that's why the game is so popular. It's no more so than the Gris. Yeah. No, absolutely. Like I just recognized very quickly that what was my time worth, right? So I'm very careful with Steam for the same reason, because Steam is like, it's right at my computer when I work.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I need to work. Like I got a book. I got my 6 release is coming up in literally a week. So like a week and a half from now, that it's my Alice in Wonderland Greek mythology epic poetry thing. It comes out in December. So I got to do the blast proofs on that this week. And then next week, I really get serious about my next release, which will be my 7th book. And I get to do my own Japanese light novel, Crazy Little Fahrenheit 451 homage. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I've heard of Japanese light novel before. It's interesting.
So check out here. Like it's just they do like these mini. They're basically. Do you remember like the old dime novels?
Sorry, the old what novels?
The dime novels. Do you know what a dime novel is?
Kind of, I think so.
Okay, so they were the old pulpy science fiction paperbacks, right? Uh-huh. So imagine that format, but with pictures inside too, and something for probably just meant for a younger audience. I'm secretly 12. Don't tell anybody, but I just like the fact that it plays with different. I can still do comic book stuff. I can challenge myself to draw stuff, which is somehow I talked myself into that. I'll never know how I did that, but I did. But I like the idea that words and pictures together can tell amazing stories. But there are also some stories where the words should carry more weight than the pictures. I look at, like, say, Alice in Wonderland classically has some great pictures in it, but what really carries it is this prose and the script, and that's kind of what I want to do. Is like those are the kind of books I want to write, right? So, and maybe what it comes down to with all of us is, in your case, dabbling with all your different interests, coming to that point, it's like, okay, what do I really want to say?
Yeah.
What matters to me? And then put it to the page.
That's why I have hundreds of story ideas, and then you have to pare it down to like, okay, we're going to actually work on this one. Or maybe these 5, because one is not enough.
It's actually a good idea to work on a few projects at once. I have found
it helps when I get stuck, I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
And then I just go, and then something comes back around.
Yeah, it's just like your brain's like a muscle. Like you work on a thing for a certain period of time, you get tired of working on that thing. So a good way to keep the brain active but not do the same exact exercise is shift to another project, right? I have a big mouth. I do a podcast like this, right? So that's one use of my creativity. When this is done and over with, I'm going to be doing some video editing, which is another use of my creativity. And if I have a little bit more time tonight, I'll be doing proofs on my book because I need to do proofs on my book, right? Those are things that, but I'm doing all these things all the time. So I never suffer from writer's block because my brain is always active. It's just, I'm not necessarily active on the same things at the same time.
Video editing, my least favorite thing.
I've gotten really good at it actually in the last few weeks. I've been doing a show for Canadian immigration, so I get to sound like a professional. Don't tell anyone I can actually do it. But it's been, I've been learning an awful lot. Like I can do some manipulation and stuff too. Like I can change colors and stuff like that. I can cut stuff and.
I just find it so absurdly boring that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. So like doing my Kickstarter video, I was like, is it over yet?
Well,
but you know, some people just love it, and that's good because somebody needs to do it, right?
Well, somebody needs to do it. Well, it's more along the lines. It's just, again, it's storytelling, just a different kind.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is essentially I'm cutting the film up into a story. That's what I'm doing. So I film all kinds of things, and sometimes it's hilarious stuff. Like me and my co-host were talking today. It got like really terrible, but halfway through filming, and it's just like we both could not keep a straight face. So I have that footage forever now, right? And then when it was over, she tormented me with like cupcakes. She bakes cupcakes for her kid, and it was just like you just had to torture me every single time, right? But the whole thing I like to say is like there is a film can be a wonderful fun process. Cutting it up is boring in the sense that it's just like you've seen all this before and you've watched all this before, but it's still structured. It's just I just look at it as, okay, I've already written the story. I now just have to edit it so it's coherent so that people can watch it and not laugh at me, right? Laugh with me maybe, but not laugh at me, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, he really enjoys it too. So but yeah, I don't know. It's just like I feel really monotonous when I'm doing it.
It's a lot of the same, like a lot. It's a lot of the same stuff, especially when you're doing really basic video editing. It's just basically
which is, I mean, really like Kickstarter video is. I'm just trying to cut out all of my bad takes, really.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to sound smart. I am so smart. SMRT, right? And that's right, and that's what you want to do. And some of that's really good, but like stuff like transition. Yeah. Oh, like some of like transitions, highlights, like green screen stuff. Those kind of things really can make a story really, really fun. And they can be like I discovered an airplane transition, which for a traveling show is actually a really good transition to have in the show. It's going to be right, but it's again, it's part of it's a process. It's a different process.
That would be quite random for me to use in mine.
Yes.
Going across the street. Why is this here?
Just completely confuse your audience. Just like, hey, I'll just put this little like graphic here for no reason, right? Because I can.
Well, it's like you know when people overuse the crazy stuff just left and right. It's like, oh, this is so cool, and it's kind of got like the '80s style effect where everything's like over the top a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, because you can do it. Doesn't mean you should, but you can.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You can also fall into rabbit holes. Like everything has a rabbit hole aspect to it. Like the transitions can be a rabbit hole, right? It's the so like when I do books, like so I'll admit this, I was a font nerd when I started editing and designing magazines. There's like these websites. It's like, ooh, I can find all these fonts from all these places, and just so much. It's like there's so much like random. Welcome up, Stuart. Welcome to the show. But like what tends to happen is like everybody has like these inner things that just click with us. And for all of us, it's a little different. But when you really look at it, grand scheme of things, it's not that different if you really look at it. Right. So
I forgot how much I've never taken a course on this, but I forgot how much I love like linguistic stuff. So it's funny because I'm in some like Facebook groups and I actually don't know what they're saying like 90% of the time. But I find it really interesting. So like kind of like try to follow along with the memes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know what are we talking about here.
So the first thing I do when I learn another language is I learn how to swear. No, I'm serious. People will teach you. I can
Really?
swear and I can speak 3 languages. I can swear in 7 because right. It's a good how to make friends and influence people. Make them play. Learn how to have fun with them. So hey, listen. What's this dirty word for their? I'm not wrong at all. It works. How you make friends and influence people. Everybody will teach you the dirty words first, and then from there you learn this broken like English whatever language, and you have now a bond with a buddy for life because you've just taken the time. They're teaching you, which they're having fun with, because they're like you teaching. They're not teaching you like the formal shit. They're teaching you like they're teaching you the stupid stuff that they still enjoy, right? Because we all have that little kid inside us. But you form a bond, and when you form that bond, and then you start to have to move to more and more serious conversations, and it becomes like this broken and it's relationship, and it's awesome. It's really really awesome. And it's also fascinating because once you start talking in another language, you start thinking differently.
You haven't been great at learning other languages, but my thing is I always wanted to create something. So I'm like kind of working on something for my next comic. I'd love to learn more languages too, but I just don't have the time for that.
I don't know. It sounds to me like you do have the time for it. You just get you
if
gotta
I
like
didn't have a job, sure.
Well, you also have like what you said, like 100 different hobbies. I mean, that's time consuming in of itself,
well,
right?
To be fair, I'm not really doing anything right now though. So
that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got the full-time job, and then I got the comic, and that's like.
That's fair.
It takes up a lot of time.
Well, no, it totally does. No, it totally does.
But you know, like you said, you gotta like focus. If I really want that to like be the thing, I do have to put that focus there, and so.
Which is totally fine. That's sort of like
Yeah.
So
One day though, when I have more time to focus on like just writing and learning stuff around writing, and I'm gonna like work on some language stuff.
Okay. Well, one of the best ways to learn like more writing stuff is reading stuff. So what was your favorite stuff to read? Like when you read, what did you like to read? I've seen both comics and prose. Like you have to have a bit of a background in both there. So
yeah, I started reading comics in like after college, manga like in college, and then everything else before that. So comics, one of my favorite, like, I don't know, I mean, they're small, they're not indie, but Aspen Comics.
Yes.
Was one of mine. Yeah. And then after Aspen, like I got into DC, and I have not read much Marvel. I don't know, it's like, it's such a commitment. Like just doing one is more than enough. So anyways, I like the dark and gritty. So obviously that's more DC than it is Marvel. I've read some of the Grimm fairy tales. I'm like looking, my graphic novels aren't even in this room, but looking over that they are. The Grimm, Xenoscope's Grimm fairy tales, but
Xenoscope's
read all of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm really torn with Xenoscope.
They're still coming out with more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Xenoscope I have this weird love-hate relationship with. I respect their business model. There's just a part of me, and maybe I'm just being a complete ass snob saying this. I just feel they have some really neat like hidden properties. Like like just things that they could really, really expound upon. And I sometimes feel their business model gets in the way of telling good stories. Right? I kind of feel that way with them. So part of me on one hand is like, I get where you're coming from. It pays the bills. And by all means, they have an audience. I'm not going to argue with what you can't argue with success. But they've shown occasional glimpses of real, like great stories. And I kind of feel they shy away from that a little bit more than they should. That might be maybe an unfair I
haven't read anything new in a while, so I don't know. I don't know if I finished it, but I love the Alice storyline that they had going. I love that.
Raven Gregory's Alice in Wonderland. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an interesting one. His take on Alice is different than my take on Alice. But
that's what makes it fun. I have like 7 or 8 Alice in Wonderland movies, and that's not nearly all of them.
Oh, 9 close. I actually have an annotated for research for mine. I have the annotated Alice in Wonderland. It actually has notes from the Lewis Carroll Society.
Nice.
It's all the pop culture references, all the hidden little nuggets in there. It's really fascinating because like it is an incredibly, surprisingly deep, and like the actual original text is very, very deep. And for all its strangeness, it's also got a lot of like sometimes just random pop culture comments he's making fun of. But every once in a while, he'll say something like, "It's like, wow, that really was profound for the time." Like, for example,
oh no,
go.
I want to hear yours first.
For example, he actually came up with 42 before Douglas Adams did.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check more into that.
Yeah.
You think did Douglas Adams get it from there?
I'm almost certain. Well, Douglas Adams, we all steal. That's the honest truth about it. We all steal. So Douglas Adams stole it from a computer. He was a computer guy. So he stole it from a guy, and 42 is very much one of those random computer things. But if you look at the first time 42 shows up, it's when the Queen is putting on trial the Duke and the Duchess in her story for stealing food. It's broke the 42nd rule. It's literally in Alice in Wonderland. It's just like, wow, 42 has been around a really, really long time without actually like one of those. So it's like, so Adams probably derived his from both sources, right? And who knows, if you trace a story back far enough, like its roots usually comes from one story.
Yeah. So you know the phrase "the jam tomorrow, jam yesterday."
Yeah.
It was referring to like how politicians will promise something, and it was like, yeah, jam tomorrow, jam yesterday, but never ever jam today. So they'll make all these promises like, oh, it's always tomorrow, and then it never ever happens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I've got Travis Gibb is putting out Cthulhu in Wonderland, which he has announced. So I'm like, okay, I can say that.
Yes.
And so I have my story is based around that adage, and that was a really fun one. I like that one. I don't know if you've ever seen the one with Carol Channing, and she sings that.
No, I haven't seen it, but I'll definitely have to check it out at some point.
It is like the most bizarre Alice in Wonderland. Well, maybe not the most bizarre Alice in Wonderland scene, but it's pretty out there.
So, in like video game lore, like I'm a big Persona guy. One of the games I do play is the Persona series. So Alice is one of the Personas. She's insanely strong. Every single time she's in the game, she's insanely strong. It's like hard one to make. She's like a secret one you can make, and when you make it, it's like she's got like this, like she's got the biggest, most powerful, like instant death spell in the game. So you want to just wipe out whole hordes of enemies, just choose Alice. It's just like, whoa, like there's definitely like Alice in Wonderland's like impact on culture, mythology, even, and stories is undeniable. Like I don't like, it's one of those things like you put stuff out there and what catches on is so weird and wonderful sometimes.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
But okay, so
like I guess most people don't really see that happen during their lifetime too. It's pretty rare.
It's rare, but it does happen, and it can happen. Right. I've learned a very important lesson in this life, and that's like I don't fall in love with outcomes. I instead just do. I have goals. I have big goals. Right. I did an interview this morning on a radio station in Edmonton, and I was talking about like she completely botched Scrooge from the Ducks. I can't remember his name, the greedy one, and it was I was laughing my ass off so hard when I heard that off the air. And so I did the interview, and I was like, we were talking about like realistic goals, unrealistic goals. Like you can get your stuff out there, but I think one of the great gifts in life is we all kind of want to be remembered. But I think one of the biggest grace and mercies of the world is, most of the stuff we do, we could be a grade A fuck up, and it's not going to, in the long grand scheme of things, change anything, right? We remember pieces of what happened. We don't actually remember everything that happens, and those pieces do shape us. I mean, Jesus Christ, still 2,000 years later. Leonardo did like go into the Renaissance with Da Vinci, Gutenberg's printing press. Like we know Genghis Khan, Tutankhamun. We know we have pieces of the story, but we don't have the whole story, which I think is very, very like it's part of the fun of looking at our past, but it also tells you that for the most part, what we do fades into time. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's looking at it, it's like it's our grace. That means in time we can forget everything. We can forget our pains. We can forget everything is in the moment. And that means you're free to enjoy it.
It would be a very boring book to read about somebody's daily breakfast. And,
yeah.
Every single detail of their life. I don't think it would stick.
Oh, for almost nobody, it wouldn't. Hell, I don't remember what I had for breakfast some days. Like I don't want to. Like I don't really want to either. It's just one of those things where you're just like maybe, but again, it's we remember what things make us feel at the end of the day. That's what we truly remember. So then my goal is anybody I come in contact with, try to make them feel a little bit better about life, themselves, and the universe than when I walked in. I don't always succeed, but I try.
That would be, I think, impossible for almost anyone to attain.
Sure.
Always make everyone around them happy.
Yeah. Oh, it's not that I'm trying to make everybody happy per se. That's not always what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is like okay, you want to get into comics, you want to keep doing more comics, you want to publish that novel. So secretly what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be quietly encouraging you to go down that path as much as you can and not worry about what will happen. Instead, just do your thing, because that's the important thing. It's not really, and I say that crying a little bit about my book sales right now, but that's okay. It is what it is. But it's also just the fact that I've put it out there, and there will be, and that's the really important thing. It's not that I did or did not. It's that I did, and now I'm working on what's next, and I'm working on what's next, and I'm working on what's next, and what my goal is to create like this, like my brand, my whatever it is. Like I want people when they come deal with me is they're having fun. I'm making them think a little bit, and I'm encouraging them to follow their dreams, and that's the story I'm building. And if you want to enjoy it, come and have fun. Think a little bit, maybe have a different perspective on life, and then maybe go out and achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Awesome. Come on in. If you don't, that's fine, right? You'll find people looking for that. Now, people I do touch, if I create that, I've won. Whether that translates to anything else is a bonus.
Just readjusting.
No, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. No, I'm just. You're definitely a listener.
It depends. Some things I have to think more about, so I don't like to reply right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just testing a theory. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Okay. I'm just testing a theory. So, are you very visual in how you imagine things?
Yeah. Not always, but
for the most part.
But yeah. I'd say I think more so than not so, for sure.
Okay.
There was interesting thread about different ways people read books and hear and see things, and I'll have to read a book and really think about what I'm doing in my head, because I was reading it, I'm like, what do I do? It's just not something I really actively thought about before.
Yeah. You're just quietly doing your thing, and then every once in a while, someone like me will ask you, "Well, how do you do it?" And you're like, "I don't know.
Magic.
Never occurred to me that I asked that question."
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was
Right.
interesting to like just think about, oh, okay, like not everybody's seeing this or hearing it the same way in their head, and like how some people hear people's like they'll only hear their own voice in their head for characters talking or stuff like that.
Oh, I have many different. I have actually a certain set of number of voices. I feel I can actually do those voices in real life. So sometimes I hear them, and I openly admit, like, I can imagine a voice, and I can definitely put things into practice that way. For me, it was like, I think visually, I have lots of big thoughts in my head. And because I've done a podcast, it's trained me to use my big mouth a lot more. I could express that better
Right.
than some. But I'm still, most people don't realize, I am actually more an introvert than an extrovert. That all said, I'm better at communicating because I've practiced it a lot more.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you put your energy into it, then it's gonna
Yeah,
come out.
absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, this is a form of storytelling. But I'm what I'm trying to figure out with you is I get there's a couple combination of things happening. You don't know me, so you're kind of just going kind of your own pace a little bit, which I think is fair.
A little flow,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of go with the flow, right?
But sometimes I think like I'm used to like specific questions. So not like the same questions, but used to being like responding to a question.
And I don't necessarily do questions. Right? I don't always do them because honestly, like, here's the thing: we've gone 36 minutes. This is the thing about questions. So let's say we go.
I think we did like one.
We've caught, yeah, but it's been
Maybe
more
two.
Part of a flow of a conversation, right? I opened with a question earlier to see if I can get you to talk because that's part of the gill, right? But we've come to that point, like a question and answer show at best goes 30 minutes, and then it doesn't sound real. If I just asked you questions all day long, it wouldn't feel like a real conversation. Because it wouldn't be a real conversation. And I'm just, right, questions and answers are great at quickly disseminating information onto a medium. And that's useful. If this was a 15-minute show, that's all I'd do, right? Because it would be quick, because it's all we'd have time for. But talking, right? Well, now I get you in a conversation, or I get you to see how you react to things. I get the sense of who you are more, right? Which no matter how good of a question I can ask, I'll never get that with just a question.
It depends on the question.
So
no yes or no's. No yes or no's only.
No yes or no's only.
Yeah, no yes or no questions only.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a short back and forth.
That's like, do you like this? Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Yes. Yeah. No, I've had that. No, it sounds, but it sounds to me you're someone that kind of just, you analyze the situation, kind of like you listen, kind of just see what's said and maybe somewhat what isn't said.
That's what group panels. I have to like make myself like, I'm like, okay, I gotta say something every once in a while because I'll be listening to everybody and I'm like, oh, I haven't said anything in a little bit. I gotta like say something.
Yeah. It's part of the deal, right? Like you have this, again, your natural inclination, from what I can tell, is you take information in, you think about it, right? You think about it, and then you like, some of it you might agree with, some of it you'll disagree. Like you'll go through your own analysis, right? And then you'll do it. You know what I mean? And at that point, you make your decisions. Is that about accurate?
I mean, unless I've been drinking.
Then you wake up the next morning and go, what have I done?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, not just like the social part, but just like the dehydration.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, I don't know you well enough to ask your age. You might just beat me. I don't want to get beaten on the air. But
Oh,
yes.
enough that I'm like not loving hangovers.
No. So I'm 40. So I'm at this is where I'm at. I can still do it, but I don't want to do it at this
Right.
point in my life. I don't want to. My body will my body, especially my head, will have a conversation with me and be like, so why did you do this? And I will say to my head, I thought it was a good idea at the time. And then my head's like, no, you didn't. You didn't think at all. You're right. You're absolutely right. I was an idiot. And then it's like, I'm glad we agree. You're going to be suffering from this now for hours. Right? And you're like,
Yeah.
at the end, you're like, I don't want to do this again. But again, I still recover in the same day. It isn't killing me. Like, it isn't killing me for, usually my mornings are gone. It's one of those things like but the rest of the day I'm good.
I don't know if
I'm
I've
over
ever
it.
had a more than one day hangover. Does that happen? I mean,
It can, depending on how much you binge. Yeah, how much you binge, you can do it. Sure. And the older you get, the longer it takes you to recover. So this is why that's why you don't see too many really, really elderly people drinking that severely, because it's like there's a reason. Why? Because I don't want to be down and out for 3 days. Because
yeah.
right?
All right.
Right. So
I'm a little bit less shy now than I used to be, but I'm actually like I'm extroverted, and a lot of my friends didn't realize that because I was really shy for like some time. So I used to have to drink to be social, and now if I know some people in the room, it's not like I can. It's not really a problem. If I know nobody, it kind of depends on my mood and how like energetic I am. Like I've had kind of a long work day, so I'm like a little bit lower energy right now. Not like really low, but yeah, a little.
no, it's
I'm talking a little faster now, so I'm not like super low energy. I was going somewhere with this. I don't know where I was going now. Oh yeah. Anyways, so because I'm extroverted, I'll throw like pre-pandemic it was like 4 parties a year or something. So, but I wouldn't always binge at all of them because that's just.
So my family's Maltese. I've had access to booze since I was a kid. It doesn't mean anything to me at all. Like at all. It's a
Yeah.
big I have a drink, it's a drink. Also, most American beer, unless you're talking like the craft stuff, sucks. Like it really, really sucks. So what I'll do
Flavor
when I go to
wise
a bar,
or percentage or both.
I'm Canadian, so our percentages are higher than yours on average.
Okay.
Right? Craft beers are different. Craft beers they're closer to what our regular beers are.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Especially like the double IPA.
yeah. But there's a so when we have a drink, like if I go to certain towns where there's like nothing but just regular beer, I just don't drink. It's not worth it for me at all. I won't even get a buzz. I will be bloated, and that's no fun either.
Right, and you're paying more for it, so.
Yeah, you do. You really do. So for me, general rule of thumb, I go to a bar, I will drink 2 drinks, maybe 3. That's it. Right. Unless it's a really special occasion, right? Then I might go a little more than that. But generally speaking, I like having the edge taken off, and I don't, and that's all I really want with my alcohol, right? And then the rest is just chill. Like I don't need to. I don't need to be the drunk crazy one. I'm already the crazy one in the room. I don't need alcohol to help me with that.
Right.
Right. I just I like sometimes you just like you just want the edge off a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's okay.
I like the flavor actually, and I've been seeing advertisements, and now I'm going to see more, and you're probably going to see some too. So you're welcome. For like these like craft non-alcoholic drinks, I'm like that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I might have to try it and see.
Some of them are, I'm sure, will be good. Like again, there's a market for everything, right? Right. So some people
and having like a fancy glass is like I don't know. It's fun.
like I wouldn't per se, but I know other people that would, and right.
It was not going to help with taking that. I don't think it's going to help with taking the edge off. I don't know what they put in it, so I
You can
assume not.
you can relax. Like there's hops in beer. Every beer has hops, so you can kind of relax.
Well, I mean, like the non-alcoholic stuff though that they're coming out with, like
some of it would, like you knock an alcohol beer, you just have a little hops in it. It's just not to the degree that like a fully alcoholic beverage does. So I mean, you can get something out of it, maybe. I think though in that case, I'll just go get water. It's like, yeah. I don't need to win the drinking contest. I just don't. Like, there's nothing in it for me. Like, there's nothing in it for me at all. It's just like like as Canadians go, I'm a lightweight. I just like two's fine. I'm good. I don't I don't need to be the queen, the king or queen of binging. So yeah. But it seems so. You were shy. Alcohol overcame it with being social. So now you're, I'm guessing, a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, overall, video stuff is still like harder than in person.
Yes.
Yeah. For whatever reason, like I don't know.
There's no eye contact. You don't have eye contact.
I think it's also like knowing sometimes like there's, like I can't. Hi everybody watching, but I can't see everyone watching.
Yeah. Now an actor feels like on television. Hi, right? And then you gotta like imagine it, right? Oh my god, right?
But they're not watching. But if you're on television, I don't know. That's not true because even still recording a video that I know people are gonna watch later, it is still hard. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah. It's not like for you in a theater environment or you on a stage to perform a song. You're there because you can feel that.
That's actually still hard for me too. But I think it's a little bit less awkward because at least I know who's there.
Yeah.
I still have to I take a little bit of anxiety medication. Like if I'm going to do karaoke, I still gotta take something because otherwise it's like I'm just shaking.
See, I have no fear of karaoke. I have I've had every so I had some of the most embarrassing things happen to me when I was a kid. So it's like it completely killed my fear. I had no shame.
Right.
I was at Ottawa for CanCon, and I literally murdered an Aerosmith song. It died on stage. It just absolutely died. I killed it. It died.
Yeah.
So badly, in fact, that I actually went on Facebook and said to any Aerosmith fans that watched me do karaoke, I am so sorry. Right? There's no failure in karaoke. Yeah. This is true. But so I'm not. See, I had this assumption because I was able to do. It's an old Aerosmith song. Farm in Love is so hard on the knees, right? All right. Yeah. No. I'm glad you missed that too, Jag. I'm really really glad you missed that. I met Jag Tress the day after, actually, at the Dead Dog. But to
at the Dead Dog. Is that what?
Yeah. So basically at the end of a convention or a conference, there's everybody kind of gathers together. I'm sure I said that wrong.
I think I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
See, I haven't been able to. I've only gone to a show as an attendee, so.
Yeah. So.
Missing out so far, but
yeah. Yeah, you'll go and you get to hang out with creators. Yeah, right. The castle was amazing. The castle was incredible. It was a castle in Ottawa, Ontario, so it was kind of cool. But that all said, right? I've learned a long time ago. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. We'll see. Before the how do I put this? I am not afraid of what's going to happen to me on the stage because I have this wonderful thought. Tomorrow, it's not going to matter. I can just be myself. I'm not scared of what could happen. I don't give a shit. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to have a good time. And if everybody else doesn't have a good time, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to have fun because that's what this is all about. I get the feeling you're more talented on stage than I am, and I'm totally cool with that. Like I said, I murdered.
I think I don't know if it brings its own. I mean, it brings its own sort of pressure for me. Whereas other people, I don't know. There's some people who are really, really good, really talented, but I've heard them talk about it, and they just don't feel that pressure. So it's definitely still a mental thing. It's, for sure, it's a mental thing, no question.
Is it because you care so much?
I don't know, maybe a little bit.
Okay. Do you have like an expectation of what you're going to do every time you go up there?
Some, yeah.
Okay.
I lost my voice once. That was fun.
Ooh.
I agonized over that for a couple days.
But
now I know what not to do, so.
But that's the teacher, right? And also now you've been there. It won't be so. If you ever did end up there again, it wouldn't be so bad because you already know what. You wouldn't want to be there again,
right?
But you know what that's like, right? So, it's good to care. Like it's something that means an awful lot to you when you go up there, and that's a great thing, right? It doesn't mean the same thing to me when I go up there because I'm not that kind of performer. I'm an asshole with a big mouth. I mean that's who I am, and so all of which to say that how do I put this? So for me, it's just I don't feel like I have as much skin in the game. You've been in choirs, like you've performed in other things too, right?
Mostly choral. I never really did the theater stuff. I don't know. I'm really bad at memorizing stuff. Really bad.
You should like do an improv group.
Yeah, actually, I've heard that that's great for just like a lot of different, like it has a lot of transferable skills.
Mm-hmm.
So probably should.
Yeah. You adapt quickly I'll let you adapt quickly to situations because you'll be put in like these awkward, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
All right.
And you just like pick it, and then you just make a decision and you just do it. And sometimes it works great. Sometimes it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, best improv show of all time is Whose Line Is It Anyway? And you get to watch some really world-class professionals, right? Do it. But even those world-class professionals, sometimes they get there. It's just like, what the fuck am I doing with this? Supposed to do with this? Right? Because it's life. But I mean, we all have those moments where I'm just stumped. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm stumped. I don't know what to do. But it's a great teacher, right? Because again, it's one of the best things about like improv or comedy or just stage is there are no mistakes if you own what you're doing. No worries.
I've always wanted to do like a stand-up, but oh my gosh, just the thought of it like terrifies me.
Then you should do it.
It's like, oh my god, no.
No, yeah, you should.
No.
I'll let you know.
It scares me so much, like way worse than singing, and I'm just like, ah.
So I've been drawing for almost a year now. I've been posting them online. As you can literally watch my progress from the year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing, it terrified me that I would be bad. And I had a wonderful thought of, so what if I'm bad? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Showing up and doing it and putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, that is where you grow. That is where LK and Gino, suddenly will find herself in a position she's never been in before, and they'll be like this, oh my God, what do I do? And then you'll do something. And whether it's good or it's bad, in the face of your fears and discomforts, you'll grow. We don't grow when we're comfortable. We grow when we're not. When we're taking on challenges we're not sure we deal with, right? Sometimes you bite more than you can chew. Hey, listen, I've had my ass kicked a zillion times. It's all good. It's that willingness to go for it. That says a lot more than, and comedy's hard. Don't get me wrong. I think comedy is a very, very tough skill. You got to be able to tell stories up there that make people laugh, think. Yeah. You have to be outrageous, and you have to figure out your own way to do that. But at the same time, right, if it terrifies you, it's something you should do. just
See,
because.
I don't know. I'm still feeling pretty good about just making myself go to karaoke. I mean, I was like going out more pre-pandemic because I was like, okay, I gotta go out. I gotta do this because I like singing. I know it's something that I want to do, so I gotta make myself go out there, even if it's like a little bit scary. But I don't know about comedy, especially because I don't necessarily have like a desire to do that long term.
They don't have to do it long term. That's not what. That's not. Here's the thing. Like this is. I have a really stupid rule in life. Well, it's my 8th rule. Stay uncomfortable.
Your 8th rule? Okay.
It's my 8th rule. It's my 8th rule. Stay uncomfortable. Right. I have 9 so far. So and then so the 8th rule is stay uncomfortable. The things that make you discomfortable are things you should at least pursue doing. Not because you need to do it forever. It's not really. It doesn't have to be forever. But if it's something that terrifies you, then our paths to freedom, like our path to our whatever personal freedoms we have in life, are very often through the things that make us afraid. So the things that terrify us are the things that push us forward. Right? I'm not talking like this will kill me. Although again, if you're that kind of person, cool. I don't feel you're that kind of person.
I'm gonna leave off base jumping.
Yeah. That doesn't feel like you. But the moment you responded with comedy and just the visceral fear I saw, which tells me you've thought about it.
I don't have a set though. Like I have like a couple little things here and there that don't ask me to pull them up because I don't remember anything.
No.
Anyhow, but but yeah, I don't have like a full set. So I mean, like not even like a full like 30-minute set. I mean, I don't have like a full set for like the free stand up where you go for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever, you know. So I think like I'd have to at least have that.
Yeah, I know. That would be all you need. I have a very evil suggestion for you. I'd see if you'd ever try it. You want crazy? Go do your stand-up stuff at a laundromat. Sounds crazy, right?
I feel like, well, I don't know. There might be some people not annoyed with me, but I feel like most of them are just gonna be really annoying.
But here's the challenge. Okay, just go up there, say, hey, I'm gonna do a show. Come watch. No one wants to be at a laundromat. Like nobody. Like airports are probably the only thing that's a worse hell than a laundromat.
Right, but I'm not buying a ticket to.
No, go. That's right. That's why I'm telling you not to go to the airport. Right. Airport is even worse. Is even a worse kind of hell than a laundromat is. At least the laundromat, it's over after about an hour. But here's the deal. No one wants to be this. You can make those people laugh. You will kill it on stage because they didn't want to be there. People on stage, that are coming out to a comedy show, they want to be entertained. So go and let yourself be entertained because, if you get your ass kicked out of a laundromat, that's okay too because they didn't want to be there to begin with, right? Yeah, but that's how you again. It's an easy way to build material, right? Because how can I make these motherfuckers laugh? If you can do right, again, simplifying this, right?
Right.
What makes me laugh, right? And then you experiment because different people come in, different audiences will laugh at different jokes, right? Suddenly you'll get some confidence to develop a really, really, really amazing 6-minute routine. Then you go up there, you do that amazing 6-minute routine, you face that fear, whatever that is. You get off the stage and you go, I never want to do it again. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Not everything I do in my life is because I want to do it more than once, but there's just something inside me that says you should do it just because. And like I said, I told you, I'm openly crazy. It's just one of those things about me is it's like, but that I don't want regrets. Even if it's just once, it's all I need. I know, then I move on. I can do something else, right? Life's got a million different experiences to try and go through, right? It's just the ones that are worth doing are very often the ones that are closest to our hearts. And the ones that usually, so it's either things we really love or things we're afraid of. And often they're intertwined.
There's this, thing that's called like wingsuit flying or wingsuit gliding or something like that. And like, I'm really afraid of heights, but that looks really interesting. But I don't think my husband will let me do it because it's kind of dangerous. So I don't think it's happening. Maybe if they make it safer in some way, or maybe I could do it at like a controlled indoor thing,
Yeah.
but not where they're like zooming around the mountaintops with the wind and.
But that's the fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's the fun. But it's actually, I think it's riskier than a lot of the other
Sure.
stuff. So like, yeah.
Well, but again, it's not. So again, this is just me. This is my level. Again, I have a certain level of crazy. I rather have 1,000 mistakes than a single regret. I don't need permission. I'm not saying you probably should tell him like I really want to do this. But what the reason I put it like
I think it's fair for him to not want me to risk my life quite in that way.
No. It might be fair, but he or you can talk him to coming with you, because right because I bet you could. I have a friend like she's technically an ex-girlfriend, but she's still like someone we still care very much. I'm jumping out of the plane at 80. She's gonna follow me, and she's like 70. Like so. Like I literally have no fucks to give, because I look at it like, you know what? I'm here to experience life in all its glory, right? I'm not going to walk away from this. I'm just going to do my thing and I'm not walking. So fuck it, right? I'm going to just do everything I want to do, because the end result's the same. And that might sound nihilistic, but the truth is, no, the end result's the same. I'm going to die someday. I want to live. And whatever those things that scare me, drive me, I'm going to experience as many different things, because I will have new and wonderful ways to scare the fuck out of me when it's all said and done, right? Because it's just that life never ends, and change is a constant. But who can I become in this life while I'm here, right? And that's part of the journey, right? We have this canvas of ourselves, and everything we do or don't do, right, creates this canvas. At the end of the day, right, we do what we want, but make sure whatever you choose, you're choosing it because it's what you want to do, not because your wants want you to do it. There's a difference. Would you like an elaboration on that?
Yeah, the last part. I'm like.
Okay, so
that.
you had two wants there. You said talking about jumping out of the hang glider. You're saying I want to do it because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure my husband will let me do it.
Well, I've always like my superpower would definitely be flying if I had one. So that's
because there's a desire. That's a want.
Yeah.
There's another want, right? I want to not necessarily risk my life. Now right now that's a little bit more of a subconscious want, because what you're actually saying is, right, I want this, but I'm a little scared of this. So now, this isn't for everybody, and you got to be very honest with yourself about that.
Right.
That's true. But if you still, but at the end of the day, to be honestly, do you really, 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 really want this? And if the answer is yes, the answer really is yes, and you should. This is another want. It's the want based on fear. I don't want to die. Bad things might happen. Terrible things might happen. So if you choose not to do it, you're serving this want. But this want, unlike this one's a conscious desire. This one's a more unconscious desire. Some of it makes total sense. This is a little crazy. But it doesn't matter if it's a little crazy or not. That's not really what this is about. There's some part of you that really wants that feeling of light. You just want to experience it, even if it's just one time. There's another part of you that's afraid of it, right? It's another want. I don't want to put myself at risk. I want to fly. they're fighting each other. So there's the conscious want and there's the unconscious want. Either choice you make, you're doing what you want. But what you need to understand is one of those wants is more conscious than the other. Now, you make a decision. You decide that you would rather not take a chance over that experience to fly, and you do it consciously, you do it openly. You're still serving want. Now it's different. Now you're dictating both wants. You're managing both of them.
Yeah.
But just doing it, most people never think their desires through.
Right.
So if you're not thinking about through your desires through, then your desires have some control over you. So do you control your wants or do your wants control you? And that's the real struggle. And if the answer more often than not is you are always listening to that voice in the back of your head that's terrified about really exploring what that is, then your wants control you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Now, at the end of the day, you'll do exactly what you want to do. But my only advice on that is the one where you will regret it the least.
Yeah. Well, I can't regret it if I'm dead, but other people can, so.
Again, what desire are you serving? Problem is, now I've shown you this, like, what desire are you serving? Now, if again, it's okay not to do it.
Yeah.
But be very, very honest with yourself. I don't want to do it because I'm scared. It's fair. But own it. Don't give yourself reasons why not to do it. Own the fear. Right? Consequently, if you want to do it, right? If you want to do it, why do you want to do it? Because I want that experience. They're both valid. But you don't need a list of reasons why you won't do it. Just be honest with yourself. You don't need a list of reasons why you'll do it. Just be honest with yourself. Now bullshit yourself into doing things you don't want. You don't bullshit yourself into talking yourself out of something you really want to do. That's the only advice I'm going to give you. You do whatever you want, and God bless whatever you choose to do. Personally, I'm rooting for you flying in a suit. That would be awesome. But
can I not pay my taxes?
If you don't want to, I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not your conscience. I'm not your conscience. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to. Again, weighing. You have to. It's being honest about what you're doing, right? It's about being honest about what you're doing. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. Consequently, anybody will tell you there really are no rules, except what we dictate for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, there are definitely consequences to that.
Well, there's consequences to everything, right? That's the truth, right? There's always a consequence. The question in life is, are you willing to pay that consequence?
Yeah.
If you're honest about it, and no matter what decision you make, there's not a wrong decision, but there are wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna do comedy on laundromat?
I think I'd still rather go for the.
No.
I think I'd still rather go for the amateur stand-up, honestly.
Yeah, you're going.
I'm also the person who, when I had to go to the laundromat, I'd be bringing a book and reading, and I don't want to be the person disturbing that person. You know.
Yeah, it's fair.
The person who's gonna be like, "Oh my God, shut the fuck."
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't know what our rules here are.
You can swear. You can swear on this show. It's all good.
My parents are not for cursing, and every once in a while I'll forget when I'm on the phone. I'm like, "Sorry, mom. Sorry, mom. Didn't mean to."
I was talking about like what fear of success and fear of failure were on this interview I did, and I just got really passionate, and I just dropped an F-bomb right in the middle of the interview. I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry, because I lost it. Like I just got so caught up in what I was saying and doing, just like,
funny.
I'm so sorry, and I was good the rest of the interview, but it was just like it was like 20 minutes into the interview. It's like, oh no, I did it. I heard it. I just registered after. It's like, oh. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Whoopsies. Right. I have a big mouth, but so like religious, like heavy religious upbringing.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends what you consider heavy.
But you consider it heavy. My opinion don't mean shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely heavier, but yeah, no, it was a pretty religious family. Most of my family is still, but they stopped trying to bring me along, so they gave up on me.
They gave up on you?
I'm sure internally they haven't, but externally, thankfully, they don't bug me anymore.
Do you mind if I ask if like what you do believe? If you do believe in anything at this point? If it's too personal, we don't have to go there.
Well, it's unlikely that they're watching this. Oh, hey, you can actually see my altar in the background there.
I kind of
Way in the back, yeah, kind of. Anyways, no, I'm Wiccan now, by choice. So it's definitely something that I mean, my personal belief is that, I don't know if they're even though like this works for me, and thank you,
yes.
This works for me, and I do believe in it, but at the same time, I also do think that like, I mean, do I really know that it's true? Is there something else that's true? Maybe. I just don't care. Because this works for me. So, why worry about anything else? And whatever else works for other people, that's great. I mean, it's, there's, please no sacrificing babies and stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, it basically a you do you philosophy.
Yeah, well, I've said that. I've joked with some neighbors, like tenants, like when I lived above it below. So I don't care if you're summoning demons in the house. I don't care. Just keep them in your neck of the woods. Don't make me exercise this place, please.
Right.
Just one of those like. So like I'm definitely more of like a believer Christian kind of background. I still do believe in God. What I've learned in this life, though, again, talking on a show like this, is that judge not. Because I have no idea the road you traveled. I have no clue, right? I don't know of your hardships, your ups and downs. I have some imaginings based on, I've lived in small town America. I've seen some stuff there that makes me go, I can see why people turn away. I can see it.
Yeah.
Right. At the same time, I'm like, again, I have my own thoughts and beliefs, and I recognize that people have to find themselves in this life. That's one of the big things. And for you, for whatever reason, I can imagine some things, especially again, not knowing you very well, I can imagine some things, and you just like the Bible verse of new wine cannot exist in an old skin. And you just didn't fit wherever you were. You just didn't fit where you were at, and you were looking for answers to your own questions, whatever they were, and you found them. And do you have doubts? Sure, we all do. I do. I mean, some days I'm like, what am I doing? What are we doing here? Especially with everything going on today, it's like, what is this, right?
Yeah.
But at the same token, it's bigger than me. I don't have a good answer. And that's how I kind of approach everybody is we all have our own, we're all here to do what we're all here to do. So the best thing I can do for someone like yourself is, again, help you however little way I can and wish you well. And because really, life's too short.
Yeah. And, like, I think that Christianity has like a lot of great stuff. But sometimes people distort that. And I had a lot of issues with people that I was around, just not being very accepting and kind of like a fear-based mentality. And I was like, that's like, I mean, obviously I'm not ready to jump out of a plane yet or anything like that, but I'm not worried about my afterlife. I don't want to be worried about that. I don't want to feel like I'm going to be.
If you do these things, you will go to hell.
Yeah,
to hell.
So
then give me your monies. Right. Oh yeah, I've seen that.
yeah.
Right.
So it's the people. I think it's individuals can make it. Can influence your view.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You look at the kind of people that you surround yourself with that are doing this. So I'm not gonna play the role of apologist for Christianity tonight, but I did have
I've met a lot of great people who
Oh, absolutely. But I did have
not for me anymore. That's all. Yeah.
I did have a fun. I'll share this fun little story because it's something that kind of hit me. Right, and just some of these terrible people sometimes you see in these religious places. It's like, how did they get there? Yeah. Right. You asked that question, but I heard a good story once and it was really good. Like often people like go to confirm Christianity with a double A meeting, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, because you're going in there and you're confessing that you need help and you struggle. And it occurred to me that maybe all these really terrible people, you wonder how they can live with themselves. Maybe deep down they know they have a problem, and that's why they're there. Mm-hmm. And I really like that answer. Now, that doesn't excuse them being a dick. That doesn't excuse that even a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, it's I always seek to understand a little bit, to try to understand what's happening around me. And I'm not always right, contrary to what my big head will say. I'm always right. No, but it's something I've learned in this life is that we all see the world differently, and that's actually one of the coolest things about life. Like Leanne Ingino's point of view of the world is very different than mine, right? It's probably a little quieter, but there's probably like immaculate images inside her world that are awesome, and I hope to see some of them in the not too distant future. But I mean, it's a different world than what I see.
Yeah. Or what? Digital, out on paper or digital paper.
Yeah, it'll be out in the ether somewhere. We'll just say that, right? Yeah, right. It'll be out in the ether somewhere, and I hope to see it someday. But me and you will never see the world the same way, and I think that's a wonderful gift.
That would be weird if anyone saw it exactly 100% the same way.
That would be hell.
Maybe it'd be like you and then some person I don't know, in Russia or Taiwan or something, and you never meet. And I'm sure that there's a book somewhere in this idea, but anyhow, I digress.
No, it's all cool. So basically,
that twin theory that your twin's out there somewhere, but what if it's not just looks? It's also thoughts.
Oh,
it's kind of creepy.
That could be really fun.
Yeah.
That could be really, really, really fun. Have one of them be completely batshit insane and just kill all the others like him, right? For this very topic, that uniqueness we all have, right? That could be a fun little horror story. So, and it's as I'm putting ideas, and so I'll see this future thing, this mass murdering copycat, killing all the copycats.
Can I think about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool, but no, it's just, the world's a different place. My friend Jagtress sees the world differently than we do, and that's okay. Jagtress is entitled to it. There's only one Leanne Kathleen Ingino, and there will never be another one like you. That's probably and there's never going to be another one like me, and that's probably a good thing. But anyway.
Had some I don't remember if it was going to be a story or whatnot. Sometimes I forget. I'm was this a story? Was this a poem? I don't know. What do I say differently? Unless I actually start fleshing it out. But it's just how all of our different, where we are all our own universe, and then all the universes overlapping. But I was trying to visualize this, and I was this is too much. There's just too many people, and how are we?
Well, that's it. But that's the amazing thing, right? This happens every day. Literally, this happens every day. You go out there and you meet people, right? Right? You go and you meet people, and suddenly you got this like everybody's got their own unique way of seeing the world, and sometimes we have the opportunity to change our worlds just by interacting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right? In your case with me, I don't know. Maybe I've made you laugh quite a bit for sure, right? So,
I'm super curious about this, like the green screen behind
oh,
you.
the green screen is I do my show, so every once in a while I'll put an image in the background when
Okay.
I'm filming.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see like this, like I put a snow sculpture up here. I had the Montreal Canadiens up here. I
A
had
bunch of Canadians.
no Montreal Canadiens hockey.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
Montreal
I was
Canadiens.
like just like a bunch of like random Canadians, or you could just do a lot of like Chuck.
Random Chucks. Random Chucks. So, yeah, no, Chuck and me are from Ontario. We're both from Ontario.
Okay.
And so when he came on the show, we talked about just like small Ontario cities. It was
Right.
hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh yeah, because it's the same experience growing up. Like we both had them. We're just in different like phases of life. He's at that point where he's found his niche. He's got a great support system, and for all his tough talk, he's a sweetheart. Like that's the one thing about him that's really cool is he's a sweetheart. The flip side though is, I mean, me and him, like my favorite story with him is when we bonded over London, Ontario, and metal. That's what we bonded over.
Right.
London, Ontario, because the experience I described there was an experience he experienced that was similar to his, and metal. It was cool. I said I'm a metal fan, and Chuck's look on Chuck's face was just like, oh really, right? And then there's like this little bit like, I don't believe you. And then I mentioned Amon Amarth, and he's like, okay, no, he is a metal fan. And
I'm not familiar with them.
They are Viking metal.
Okay.
They are Viking metal. They are.
I don't know if that's my usual.
It's not normal. They're good. They're really good at it. I've also gone to their show live. We literally, we shook the building, and we nearly rioted. It was great.
No.
It was great.
They're more like new metal.
No.
Not new NEW, but like NUW. Or no, NUW. There's no W. NU.
You're a new metal person. I'm more
new metal, like I like it when they do like a lot of like electronic kind of stuff with it.
So Mash would be cool for you. I'm more like into European power metal. So Nightwish, Blind Guardian. Right. I also like old school crazy ass hair metal. Makes me like, it pops me.
Right.
Like because it's not something I can listen for a long period of time, but there's just something very free spirited about it that I really enjoy. Also, the last time I saw it live, dude had no shoes on. He was performing his guitar in like bare feet on the stage. It was incredible. It's like, he has no shoes. It's like, this is awesome. It's a crazy world, man. Again, it's a crazy world. Just don't judge.
It just sounds uncomfortable though.
It wasn't for him. He had a blast. He was killing it up there. It's like, what the fuck do I know? It's like, I right? It's like, right? That's how I look at it, right? It's so. I mean, that's the cool thing about metal. It has so many different genres and people, and right. I mean, there's definitely a pagan. Like some of the stuff I listen to, it's definitely more of a pagan vibe. Like Elu Vitae is one that I think comes to mind that I think you probably would actually dig. It's a Scottish metal band. It's they're really
do
fun.
They do the bagpipe thing? Yeah,
metal,
I love it. I love it when Korn brings out their bag. But like I saw them once in concert, and they did like a bagpipe solo thing. Like,
yeah, bagpipes are like super hard to play well.
Yeah,
Elu Vitae is awesome. See.
You do bagpipes right. It's like, oh yes. You do bagpipes wrong.
They're great. Yes, Korn is also great. It is true. But
we just saw Ginger, who's like, I don't know. They're like death metal / something else. Like, a couple other things. But I can't do like the death metal like visual stuff when people do that. Luckily, they like don't really do that though. So.
death metal is they are some of the sweetest people. When you're not on stage, they're legitimately some of the sweetest people. Right? It's like, how can you do that? But they get all that darkness out on the stage, and it's over. And then that's the cool thing about metal show too is you can it's a place where you can put your aggression out, and no one looks at it like it's a terrible thing. Yeah, right. And
I love just doing chores. I'm like, because it like gets me going. I'm like, okay, I can do my chores around the house now.
It's like, I can do my chores. Just go like really angry with that, right? Hear like this massive angry guitar bass in the background. Your husband comes down. It's like, what are you doing? Raging, and then you turn the vacuum cleaner on, and it's just like, okay, that's right. That's just one of those. There's nothing wrong with let me do that. I write to lights. Like I literally write to lights.
Was that the band name?
It's the person's name. She's a
okay.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like just like lights, like.
Yeah, no, she's a pop synth. She's a pop synth. Yeah, no, she's pop synth, and I've talked to her a few times. She's kind of cool. I want to try to get her on the show someday. That's kind of one of my. She's on my like hit list of like 10 people I really want on the show, and she's like on there. Yeah. Yes, I know, and she's also a great comic book writer. Yeah, she's on my hit list. I've talked to her a few times. Oh yeah, not Matt, just tweeted. We actually do tweet back and forth occasionally. I haven't met her yet in person, but I have talked to her a few times. So, yeah, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. Yeah, so no, I just real quick for Jag, and then we'll go back. She did a comic series called Skin and Earth, and for her first comic, that was incredible. To be perfectly frank, the Aurora should have nominated her, and they didn't. And I am honestly annoyed at that because she wrote and drew an amazing. Book for her first book.
Mm-hmm.
She did a 6-issue miniseries for Dynamite. It was really, really good. It's like based off her album, which is also really, really good, and it's really good. Like for her first time, it's incredible. The only, I mean, if I would like be critical, issues 3 and 4 were a little predictable, but really for your first time, better than what I did, better than what I fucking did. So,
Beartooth's got a graphic novel out, but I haven't picked it up.
Yeah, no, it's called Skin and Earth, and that's what it's called. It's based off her music album, which I recommend the acoustic for, but also the rock's really good too. So they tie together. It's really, really good, and so she's a world-class artist. And that's why she's like, that's why she's like, oh my god, like I always have a list of people I've always wanted to interview and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and that's one, like she's on my 10. She's on my list of 10 I want to do. That all said, going back to you, because we should go back to you at some point here. It feels like with you, you're giving yourself the room to explore more as you've gotten older and wiser, or something.
Yeah. Yeah, part of that was like life, stuff that happens in life. Sometimes things slow you down. Like I think some of it might have happened sooner, had other things not happen, but whatever, it is what it is. And so can't do a lot about it now. Here we are, and I'm like, well, this is what I want to do. So we're going to do it. And I've actually I made nail polish for a little while. I figured out I didn't really want to do that long term. So it was good. It was good to try it and find out that it wasn't something I liked it. I like playing around with stuff. I like I've made a perfume, not for sale. I've made incense very badly. Like it just didn't burn. It just didn't burn. So
I can make colognes. I've done perfumes too. I've experimented a little bit. I made it as a herbalist, so I tried different. So I tried different things. Right. Most of my crafting is teas, but that's it's no, like there's definitely like you learn a lot doing anything. So anyway, I interrupted. Yeah.
Where's he going with that? Oh yeah, no, it was kind of good to like have that business experience, even though it ended up not being like long-term thing, especially because they're like the whole thing about like, oh yeah, you're gonna fail your first couple of businesses or not move forward with them. I'm like, okay, well, I've done enough stuff now that hopefully we're good.
We'll get to that. Do you have any candles? Jag
I
wants to
have.
know.
I don't know. I mean, they kind of have like, you know, pre-made stuff for that, so it's a little bit easier. I feel like candles are a little bit easier, not trying to like downplay that. Now, granted, if you're doing like some of the crazy like carving sculpture stuff, like that's, you know. And I've done soap, but I've only done like the melt and pour soap, so yeah, you know, I did the easy soap.
My next experiment's booze. Yeah.
I used to have a garden. I live in a desert, so it was an impressive garden, if I say so myself, considering that we live in a desert. My puppy tore it all out. So, but I do have a dehydrator, and I would dehydrate things. And I have an essential oil distillation thing. Now, granted, I'd get like 5 drops from like 2 liters of leaves. I'm like, this is a lot of time for like maybe 20 max, like very little.
Yeah, but the essential oils are very powerful. If you actually know what you're doing, they're like.
But for me to actually use them and make something out of them, I'm like, it's kind of more worth my time to buy it, honestly.
It depends on the time you got, right? It like.
Oh no, I'm bad. I'm not a morning person, so I never get it at the right time.
Well. With that kind of thing, right? It depends on what you're going for. Some of it is like something like rose, for example, is super hard to make on your own. Buy it, just fucking buy it.
Yeah.
But stuff like lemon, lavender, you know, like
lavender still takes a lot. Also, we can't grow lavender very well here, so
no, lavenders take a lot, but it's from an accessibility point of view, you can do it, right? I'm not saying,
sure.
right. So if you're looking for like a very like you're trying to make the cleanest product possible, and sometimes you do want that, they're worth making. If you are just looking to accomplish a very specific task only, just buy it. Just buy them, right?
Or I can just do the vodka distillation, which is not as good, but like.
Those are more like tinctures. They're not essential
right,
oils.
Yeah,
they're tinctures.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
It depends on the end use, for sure.
Yeah, but it's a lot weaker. But
yeah,
for internal use, great shit.
Well, see, I did some like whatchamacallit, like vodka infusions stuff. So, you know, I didn't do the alcohol from scratch, but you know, we got some nice flavored alcohol from garden stuff.
I usually use like a 95 proof or higher for my alcohol base, and then I'll do whatever. Yeah. Stuff I'll usually do is stuff like rosemary. I'll do stuff like I will do sometimes like a basic one, like I will do a lavender too. Sometimes for that, I'll do like lemon. I'll do a citric kind of combination. They take a few weeks. They take a couple weeks to do and do well. Yeah. But it's. I find they're handy again for internal use. Essential oils internally, you can, but it's very, very tiny amounts. Whereas a tincture you can do a lot more with it. So that's that. Like, yeah, I got lots of experience with tinctures. Essential oils require a distillation process I don't have access to.
Yeah,
but
it was like, I don't know, a couple $100. Might have been. Honestly, I'm trying to remember if it was 2 or 4. Mm-hmm. Which is a good difference, you know.
Well, I don't care at this particular point. What I'll be doing is I'll be getting a beer distiller, and I'm going to be making my own booze.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling that you know, it's going to become a very popular pastime in the years to come. But also, again,
you want to grow hops, but couldn't get
them
to grow.
Well, you can with certain recipes, you can make anything booze almost, right? It's also a fermentation process,
right?
As
well,
yeah, right. So you can make anything booze if you know what you're doing, right? So how do I know this? Don't ask questions. Like we don't like hangovers.
Potato. Well, let's see. You can do vodka's potato.
Yeah, potatoes. Potatoes. You can do it with.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's laughing. Jag is laughing at both of us.
I
Thinking
don't know
about how to make
complicated
booze.
would taste. Yeah.
Yeah. There are
Garlic.
recipes.
Garlic booze.
I'd try it. I would try it. Garlic's potent shit. Like garlic is incredibly potent shit. There's a book I have called Garlic, Vinegar, and Honey. Between all the
that.
yeah, it's a very very very. I'd recommend that book for anybody. I'm not saying I would actually do it more than once. I would try it. Jag. I would totally
do
try.
more than once if it's good.
Yeah, if it's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get
We should mix a little bit of holy water in the garlic vodka, and then you have like the perfect anti-vampire drink.
Yeah, there's that. I actually think. I love it. Look at her face. Look at her. I actually probably would. Well, see, Jag, you gotta remember. So when I was a kid, my dad's a naturopath, but before he made stuff palatable, he would blend. I'm sorry, Jag. Sorry. There. True story. When I was a kid, my dad would blend all these different like concoctions and combinations, and I would be one of his guinea pigs. Hey, Josh, try this. Oh, some of that stuff. Oh my God. Right. The taste would just it curled my beard. I didn't even have a beard, but they curled it. Like it was like some of that stuff was he got better. Toward the end of my time living with him, he got better at it. Like to the point where it was palatable and nutritious. It took him about 20 years. I had a long experience of my favorite story is he made this like garlic, ginger, apple concoction. You tried something with that. Apple and garlic together regularly is actually quite healthy for you. It's actually one of the, like a little clove of garlic up with an apple is a very powerful antiviral combo. So he thought, try like a little thing. He went to me, Josh, I'm creating out this drink. It's got all this like, but don't worry, I have apples in there. I drank it. There was no apples in there. I don't care what he said. What he says, right? The second one. So he tried it again with more apples, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all, right? And
Wait, so this is like blended?
Yeah, you would blend stuff all the time.
Apples right? Kind of a really light flavor. No?
It depends what you mix.
I mean, comparatively to garlic, it's really light.
Now, what he did. Now, some of the stuff he did. He would try all kinds of different things. He would blend juice, all kinds of things. And I grew up hearing the blender sound, and my whole life, because I just would wake up and he'd be blending something and like try like because he'd always be researching old formulas, different combinations that worked in the past. Some of them to great success. Some of them like they all did what they were supposed to do pretty much. They just didn't taste like the taste was not something you'd want. Now again, it took him a long time, but he got to a point where he could do really tasty things, but it took him a long time to get there. And I was the guinea pig. So everybody that eats any of my dad's stuff now, yes, it would be. It would be an amazing experience, right? By the way, I'm not talking alcohol. I'm not talking alcohol with the blending stuff. Just him just doing medical stuff, like different medical herbal combinations, remedies. As far as booze goes, the one I really want to do is mead. Everybody wants to do mead. Mead's a good one. But the other one I kind of want to see if I can do. I like sometimes how wine cooler tastes, but I actually want it to have a real kick. Yeah, mead is a process. I know that. I've been researching. Yes, and I'm a little jealous of Jag.
I feel like sake, like nobody. I mean, obviously people make sake. I just don't hear about anybody making sake from home. Just kind of curious, but I feel like it's a harder process, maybe. more involved.
It is because there's sake made for there's sake made for room temperature. There's sake made to be hot. There's sake made to be cold. Right. So I think that one is very much about grain education.
Right.
Because I think that one's very much about knowing which rice grains are better in what environment. I'm not entirely sure that I certainly don't know enough. Like I think my sake my sake might not be the one you want to drink. It'd be like,
Yeah, give me a cold sake any day though. I mean, like I like the warmth of it, but the flavor just goes
yeah,
away when you
cold
heat
ones are
it.
good. They're like sody pops. So like my favorite the drink I'm careful of the most though is scotch. Because
Careful
sitting
with drinking too much of it.
a little bit
Okay.
because it sneaks up on you when you're sitting down. It sneaks up on you.
Mm. I used to not be able to drink whiskey; it was just too strong, and now I can like a little bit, especially if I like actually have it over ice. Who knew? Obviously, people knew, just not me.
Yes.
So, but that really helps. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could try scotch again because it was always just too much. I'd make that face like right away, but
Yo,
hold
no,
on, no.
it's got a kick to it. Like
Yeah.
you're talking to a guy that also like his regular beer choice is Guinness. Like that's my regular choice. Bitter, strong beer.
Yeah.
So that's my regular. My unless I'm like doing something really, I either go Guinness for beer, or I go really light blonde. Depending on whether I'm actually doing an interview or not, I'll go one or the other. Right? Guinness,
Yeah.
I'm here just to chill. I'm just here to chill. Light blonde, I'm here to work, kind of. So I'm just gonna have a drink, just a little bit of a drink to feel the again, just get myself into a nice comfortable space, and then go get to work. Right? So,
Now
but
I'm here in the house, and now I'm like, I kind of want a beer. Shouldn't find like when you talk about it, like, oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I know. And maybe my ultimate challenge it would be like I'd like to make a brandy. I think a brandy would be kind of fun to make.
Hmm.
So
I think how brandy's even made.
brandy, you can it's a derivative of wine. It's a stronger wine.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's great. It's grape based.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong. I think I might be wrong actually. I'm thinking of something else, but yes. But
Yeah, I thought it was with like the whiskey family.
yeah. So I thought so. Yeah, it's like I'm thinking of something else. I think you're right. Yeah,
Now I'm
brandy.
wondering what the stronger wine is.
Yeah. No, I am down too. I'm thinking of something else though. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does taste. It does. It's definitely sweeter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Generally, yeah.
Well, I was in minus 40-degree weather working a day job. Brandy feel really, yeah. I mean, I'm in Canada. This is Canadian weather.
Wait, yeah. So that's negative 40 Celsius.
Negative 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit's the same.
Oh, because once you reach a certain number, it's like the same, right? Yeah. Okay.
And about there, it's the same. It doesn't. So once you get to that low, it
Yeah.
and really, honestly, at that point, it really doesn't matter. It's cold.
It's what when we reach our heat after about 105 Fahrenheit, that's when I stop noticing the difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, AF. Yeah.
Brandy is. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Well, folks, so we've learned something new. Yeah. But thank you, AF Stewart, for her wonderful input throughout this process.
There was something I like. I don't know if this is true. I have to preface that when I say that because I hate like repeating stuff that's not, but I'm like, I don't know, could be. I swear I read something about like you're not allowed, like maybe it's like in a certain quantity that you can't grow the agave plant or the type or the specific type of agave plant that you get tequila from. This is California, by the way, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would not be
California's got a lot of
shocked because
rules.
it's I wouldn't be shocked if it was California.
Yeah.
I somehow feel, even though I'm not sure you could grow it in South Dakota, I don't think South Dakota would give a shit. Something tells me
Right.
like right.
Yeah.
It's a California thing, you know.
We got a lot of rules.
You do, and I imagine
You
they're
can't
broken
have
on a regular basis. And I imagine they're broken on a regular basis.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, like you're not supposed to own, or no, you're not supposed to transport ferrets in, but you can own one as a pet. Weird stuff.
Yeah, California's a weird state in terms of its laws. Very
I
weird.
don't know if I can own a capybara though, and that makes me really sad. If I can't.
I won't tell if you won't. It's like I won't tell if you won't.
They're so cute.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm certainly, like I said, there are no rules. That's what I said. I feel like we should probably talk about your books and stuff like that before we wrap up here. I've enjoyed it. No, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and definitely want to do this again. Some in person. I think in person we definitely get along quite well.
I'll have a little bit more coffee. Well, probably wouldn't be on a work day anyways because I'm not working and then going to convention. So.
What always happens, Jag? Me not talking about books? That's on purpose half the time. To answer, I'll answer the question, Miss Jag, is see, I don't know if I'm going to get Leanne to come back on the show. It's possible. I don't think she's going to be adverse to it, but I also know that time is of the essence. So I had this wonderful opportunity to get to know a pretty cool person, right? She's shy, and she's a little shy, but when she comes out of her shell, she's actually kind of fun, right?
Oh.
She likes to, right, and that's kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know you well enough to say you're fun yet.
Okay.
Right? I mean, definitely kind of, right? But amazing person, chasing stuff up. So I got that. So this is why we do these chats like this, because I get to meet the person. Yeah. I know, and I'm being a bug back. So you're doing a lot of comic stuff. Mm-hmm. You see yourself continuing to do comic stuff.
Yeah. The good and bad of comics is that I can write them relatively quickly. I actually still need to write the script for issue 2.
Well, you got time right now. You're going to be funded for issue 1, so.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have it by January. Anyways, we'll see. Because we have like 3 trips between now and the end of the year, so.
Fair enough.
Really hectic. And then of course fulfillment. So yeah. Anyhow. So that's on my plate, but I can write them relatively quickly, and then I make Chuck edit them, and then I fix it, and then I make him edit it again. And it's a much more collaborative process than that, but it's part of the process.
Yeah, no, I have a little bit of idea how Chuck works.
Yeah,
I've talked to him about it.
So I can write them relatively quickly, especially I've been doing a lot of anthologies, so they're like 4 to 8 pages. I get those out like no problem. And I don't have a ton of time dedicated. I don't have as much time dedicated to writing as I would like, working a full-time job and then also trying to keep the marketing going, all that fun stuff. So I can do that quickly, but obviously they're much more expensive than like writing a short story or a novel. So that's the good and the bad. But I mean, I also get to play in another medium, of course. So I mean, I don't have the time to do the art. And if I did, it would take me. I'm too much of a perfectionist that it would take me 5 to 10 years to finish a comic on my own, so I'd still hire somebody to do.
Fair enough. You're going to see yourself in the medium for the foreseeable future?
Oh, yeah. I have stuff planned out through like 2024, which I have other ideas past that too. I just didn't write an actual plan past that. Because I was like, you know what, that's enough for now, because I know that this plan is not going to go as I expect it to, or as I wrote it out anyways. There's no way it's already changed a couple times. So I was like, a couple years in advance is good. Every year I kind of like, we're at the end of 2021, so I've revised it a little bit for 2022. Sometime in 2022, I'll do that again. Just keep revising. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's always good because everything evolves, everything changes.
Yeah.
Right? And your voice will change, and maybe you'll decide that comics aren't cool. You're just going to be a rock star poet for the rest of your life. Get yourself like a guitar, just like jam.
Oh my gosh. No, I can't do guitars because I refuse to trim my nails.
Ooh.
So I did guitar lessons for like 1 year and then I was like, nah. I did piano for like 8 years, I guess it was. And I haven't played much lately. I have one. I just really haven't like been practicing. So I can still kind of play. But I refuse to trim my nails for that too. But they don't get in the way too much unless I'm trying to do like something really crazy. And since I'm just doing it for myself, I don't care. Yeah, like I was having a good time. I'm not going to cut my nails for this. So my dad would always get on my case about my. I had to keep them trimmed, but I wouldn't keep them as trimmed as like he probably would have liked. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Right. So as we get into the home stretch, I mean, you put up with me for almost 2 hours, and you don't seem to want to kill me. So that's that seems that I think I made a good impression.
Oh no, it's been great. I'm just a teensy bit tired, but otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I've been like staring at the screen all day, and I can feel the eye fatigue.
Pardon? Can you repeat that?
Oh, I've been staring at the screen all day, and I can feel the eye fatigue a little bit. So.
Yeah.
The rest of me is good. The eyes are just like, ugh. Dying.
What I've been quietly doing as we're getting ready to wrap up here is I am trying to point out to her Kickstarter, Fangs and Foul Play, that it's her current, and you got an evil vampiric cat there, like a very evil vampiric cat, staring at me in the face.
Like, but he's also very cute.
Yes.
I like to think he's very, very cute. So.
But it's just you like cute, scary like vampire things. And for everybody watching, listening, there's a link to her Kickstarter right there. So, Fangs and Foul Play, horror, justice, and an evil vampiric cat. So why is so? Yes, it is very, very, very cute and sweet and kind and murder.
Yeah, I don't know about sweet and kind.
But it's sweet and kind murder. That's what it is. I mean, you got an adorable. No, that's the sweet and kind. Just lots of murder.
I can't reveal too much.
Oh, okay.
There's some murder. There's some murder. Yeah.
The murder, mayhem.
I mean, from Fang's point of view, it's it's just dinner.
I mean, that's probably. I mean, vampires actually legit do have like the best motives by and large. They're just hungry and they're just killing the prey.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a.
We just are the prey. We're the prey animals, so.
Yeah.
Not so good for us.
Well, it's not good for us, but I mean, you can't I don't know. Like you can make an argument that they're not necessarily evil. They're just I'm a predator. You're the prey. This is the role in life. Know your role.
I mean, right? Fang's a little bit of a. He likes to torture.
So he's a dick.
His thrall. Yeah, I mean he's a cat.
Well, yeah, cats.
And I love cats, and I think that they can definitely be very sweet, but they're also.
Oh, I think Jack's kind of taken to your project there. Vampire kitty madness, ladies and gentlemen. Vampire kitty madness. Right. So, if you are going to do your elevator pitch about it, so let people know.
Okay. I see. I'm so bad at memory stuff. I like freeze a little bit, and I gotta practice it for cons because those are gonna come up. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So it's Fangs and Foul Play is about a telepathic vampiric cat who just wants to eat. Meanwhile, a conflicted ex-Colonel Richard just wants to do the right thing. What happens when he becomes enthralled to Fang? You'll find out in Fangs and Foul Play. Hopefully. I mean, you will find out if you read it, but hopefully you'll check it out to find out.
So I'm gonna ask this before we wrap up. Do you have cats?
I do. Yeah, we have 3 cats. I had 4. My super cuddly one is the one who is no longer with us. So. She was old though.
Yeah.
It was still very, 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 very sad, but she was. It was her time.
Okay. I have a theory what's going to happen to Mr. Colonel then. It happens to all cat owners.
He's not really really a cat owner, though.
No. We're not cat owners either. They technically own us. Kind of like cool thing about cats is that they don't give a damn. Yeah, but the bad thing about cats is they kind of don't give a damn. That's I mean it's
But it's all the more better when they're like, oh hey, I'm going to show you affection now.
Oh no, cats are they can be very, very affectionate when you want them to be. Right? They actually surprisingly affectionate, but they're also playful.
Mm-hmm.
I annoyed my roommate at the time because he like me and my other roommate were doing more with the cat than he was. So what I would do with the cat is I would wrestle the cat all because so cat would claw me and all that stuff. It's like it's all good because again, no real harm is being done. Just like, but the cat was supposed to be for my roommate's girlfriend. So the girlfriend would come and the cat would go play with her like she'd play with me or him, and be like, I can't do this because he's like one of those. It's like one of those things. Like it was like because again I've had cats before, so I just know like most cats like it. I mean, most cats. They like it when you play with them, right? And then they're not they might claw you, but they're not trying to hurt you or maim you or anything like that. They're just showing aggression, right? So, and that's all. Again, it's like it's their version of the metal show. You let them have a little aggression out. They're like and everybody's happy.
Mine's not trying to hurt me so much as she's a scaredy cat. So if I am too close to her, it's just her defensive,
Oh, okay. So she just jumps and scurries. Mine.
I got her off the street, and she was so bad. I mean, when I first got her, she did claw me up like crazy. She bit. She didn't. She was semi-feral, and I was like, well, we can't give her up because they're gonna put her down. So anyway, she actually does occasionally cuddle now. It's very rare. It's on her terms. It's usually when she thinks I'm sleeping.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, but that's because she's starting to trust you little by little. Mm-hmm. Eventually, she'll trust you, and then she'll be like every other cat.
I'd be surprised if she gets much better than she. I mean, this has been like 7 years.
You might be surprised.
My husband's one of the first people other than me that she's actually come up to a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's definitely progressing.
Yeah, no.
Very slow.
Well, yeah. We could do another episode. This trauma takes a long time to heal. It really does. And if you're in a situation where you've been fight or flight for a very long time, recognizing that those instincts are no longer necessary, takes a long time, even for human beings, And depending on how rough her situation was, right? It is what it is. That all said, if she is coming to you little by little, might be another few years, but she'll get there.
Yeah. It's really funny. We had a shower head thing that was like breaking, and it almost fell on me multiple times, so that every time, and it was usually like when I turned it off. So I developed this reflex of like kind of like turning off and then like backing away and going, yeah, because it also makes like a really loud noise when it would like fall. We got a new one. It's been like a month and a half, 2 months. I'm still like slightly like having this reflex to it. It's almost gone, but there's still a very slight reflex.
Oh yeah, and and if you ever see it happen again, you'll quickly adapt to it again. So like that training's there, but it's just like it's just again, that's a little thing, right? That's a little thing it remembers you.
Yeah.
So for everybody watching, so you have a website for this as well?
Well, there's a Kickstarter, so fangsandfoulplay.com takes you to the Kickstarter, and then my website is headlessgnomes.com. I do.
Oh my god, Headless Gnomes.
Headlessgnomes.com.
Yeah, I gotta ask why. Why Headless Gnomes?
I was actually I rarely do those brainstormy like.
That's just laughing
things, where you're writing different things down, and so I was trying to think of like my publishing company name, and I was like, okay, what's it gonna be? And that one just, I don't know, it worked for me, and so I'm getting my characters. I'm getting the Headless Gnomes characters designed by mascots. At some point, I'm going to actually start writing short stories about them sometime in the future. So, but I wanted it to be kind of silly, kind of cute, a little bit of horror, because my primary genres are horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. So kind of need to fit that.
Yeah. I secretly think that your comics are kind of remind me a little bit of like, dude, there's a little bit of heavy metal horror in you at all times, so it's just gonna come out in your comics.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's all good.
And my next one's a little bit more sci-fi, but it does have a little kind of small. It's based around a curse, so it's got some like kind of horror that can happen from that.
Cool. So next time when your book's ready, you want to come back and bug me again, we can talk cats, metal, and booze some more.
Yes.
And goof off about everything else. And we can talk poetry too, because I do have my own stuff coming out December 1st. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will see the posts on Facebook, hopefully.
Well,
you never know with the algorithm.
So my algorithm was bad for a few days, and I'm like, so my numbers dipped from my podcast, and then they went right back up. I think the big advantage I have is because I don't rely on just Facebook, right? I'm okay, but I like Facebook's quicksand. That's just the only way I can put it. Facebook is just a really shimmering pile of quicksand.
Yeah.
Right. Now that we're going meta, which is another topic for another day, it's probably going to be an even weirder quicksand black hole. I might just bail. From Facebook. Who knows?
If there weren't so many comic people there, like maybe.
I do business there, but I do business there. It's kind of why I'm still there, but I am certainly not doing it for some of the stuff I'm reading on feeds. Like and no matter there's just some things I'm just looking at. It's like, we're just being like, we're doing weird echo chambers in the dark. And I get some of it's branding, but some of it's also just like, I just rather have a beer with people and say my stuff's awesome to them face to face. I'd rather do that. And hopefully I get the chance next year.
Right. Convention's coming back, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I have next year is going to be very interesting. I think we'll see how things play out. But I did an interview yesterday. I see this time as I don't think we're ever going back to normal. I do think the question is, what do we want going forward? And I think the honest, and this is where I'll wrap up. The honest truth is, we have a lot more say in where we go tomorrow than we realize. But what we have to realize is that tomorrow is here. Don't worry about what you're going to go back to. Going back to what I said to you. There's what you want, and there's what your wants owning you. Mm-hmm. Be very, in the next year for all of us, be very careful what you choose, because there is a difference, and we will live with the difference. So, just my thought for the day. All right, folks. This is Leanne Kathleen Ingino, LK Ingino, poet, musician, secret comedian, wants to fly, and let's see, and is owned by 3 cats currently,
and 2 dogs. Well, I don't know. They don't know.
Dogs and cats. Yeah. Dogs are different. They're more loyal companion, and you have followed. See, there you go. Yeah. Because this is why we talk, because that way I get to know him. You're awesome, and that's it. So, and you are, and good luck on the remaining down of your Kickstarter. If I'm supposed to get, well, let's see. It is very. I'm not gonna. The problem is there's so many of you with good Kickstarters, and I'm only.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple too that I was like, oh, I really want to back this, but I totally overextended already.
I give myself certain Kickstarter privileges at once, and that's it. I do get paid 3 times this week, which is kind of cool. Freelance life, my friends, is like, that's the best part. When you're a freelancer, you get sometimes I get paid probably tomorrow, but for sure 2 checks Thursday, 1 check Friday. So it's like that's the best thing about freelancing. Sometimes every day is payday. Sometimes it's a beautiful, beautiful thing when that is the case. But I digress.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how it works, and I get another paycheck next week too. So I mean, hey, wait, I mean that's how that goes. Yeah, every day sometimes is payday. Sometimes, Jag. Sometimes it's like, and the next paycheck after you go through that flurry is crickets. Why am I hearing crickets for this? But that's another conversation. Leanne, thank you very much for coming on my show. To those watching, listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you want to support Leanne, and if you want to support Leanne, do follow her Kickstarter. I put it up here earlier. I'm gonna do it here again. Go check her Kickstarter and go definitely watch it. Beyond that, if you want to support me, my book Alice 1. Yes. So Leanne, just Jag talking to you.
Oh, thanks, Jag. Jag Trust.
Jag Trust. Creator, streamer, extraordinaire. Also an amazing person, and probably sometime next year, we're going to have her back on the show too. So, to anybody watching and listening, if you want to support me and what I'm doing, this is my next book release. It's Alice 1. It's out now. And you can definitely click on the pre-order button right now if you want to do that. It's epic poetry. Alice in Wonderland is Greek mythology. Alice is Pandora. Alice plays Jason in a very evil game. Sweet. Great. And it plays croquet against Jason of the Underworld. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/JustJoshingPodcast. My YouTube is Joshua Pantellaresco. Stay inspired. Keep shining dark. Tomorrow, I'm actually doing a fellow video gamer called Square Pillow Games. That's right. That is going to be. It's going to be a gaming interview tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. So definitely check that out. And then beyond all that, everybody, have yourselves a great night.
Bye.